Welcome to the 2014 edition of the 90 Degree Show, hosted by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. And here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Good evening and welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I am your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you tonight. Tonight is September 28th, 2014, 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast. We appreciate all those listening live and in podcast form through iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, our website, Twitter, Facebook, or any social media device that you may have. At the end of the broadcast, if you wish to make a donation to the network, please do so if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. All right, guys, I am going off script tonight. I had a family accident to my laptop, and now I am coming you guys with no script and missing a lot of my audio clips and a lot of the things I usually use for the show, but it is all good tonight. We'll go ahead and push through, and my laptop is on warranty, so I'm excited, but just don't know how long I'll be without it, and I will get all of those semantics worked out. But nevertheless, sitting here distracted here doing 2,000 things at once. I am on my work laptop, and it is all good, and we are going to push through the show tonight because the show must go on, and I can delete all of this stuff by tomorrow. So it's all good, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get moving with the 90 Degree Show tonight. We are in week 5, and we're waiting on Rashad in here to call in. I'm sure he'll be calling in here a second. Turn on the intro music. This weekend, we had our matchup Miles against Albany State, which is like my favorite since we've been doing the show. And I believe that battle happened, but I have not seen tape of that particular matchup. I've seen tape of Albany State this year, and I've seen tape of Miles, but I have not seen tape of that particular battle. We also want to give a shout-out to the Zim Ballistic and our man Luis Suarez. They filmed the Prairie View Grambling game this weekend, and that was actually a really, really good game. So we were able to get our eyes on the fifth quarter. I did not see the halftime show for Prairie View A&M and Grambling, but we did see the fifth quarter. A lot of attention this weekend, folks were talking about Southern and Alcorn. So I checked out a little bit of the zero quarter, and I checked out the fifth quarter for that. So we'll talk about Miles, Albany. We'll touch on that what we can. We'll talk about Prairie View, Grambling, and for all those that were attendant and the Southern Alcorn game, I think I talked to my man Garrett. He said he might be calling in. There were some other good games this weekend. I talked to Tyrone from the 8 to 5 guys, and I think he said that he saw Howard, and we'll get some of his comments. If he doesn't call in, he left me some notes that I could read talking about those comments. And again, like right now, I've been seeing there are like 2 Battle of the Bands going on right now. A big, huge rivalry with Miles and Talladega College. They are battling today, and I think Rashad, that's where he is. Rashad was either going to be late or trying to call in from that battle. So he's probably not able to call in just now because he attended it. And if he gets a chance to call in, we'll see about what happened. You, too, can call in. I got my little spiel written down this year. Now, we talked about our featured matchups and whatever matchups we pick, but we can't cover them all, and we depend on you, the listener, to do that. So call in at the number you see there on your screen, 718-664-6025. You can call in and let us know the matchup that you saw and break down whatever you think would happen, and that'll be beneficial to us. We also have the chat room. If you have a Blog Talk Radio account and you want to log into the chat room, you can log in. I see a couple of folks there. What's going on to you folks in the chat room? Appreciate you being there. And you can log in and leave your comments there. Last but not least, go to themarchingpodcast.com. We'll vote every week on our featured matchup. Last week was Tuskegee and Tuskegee and somebody. I think let me go. Tuskegee and Winston-Salem State. So I'll be reading the results there from that here after our commercial break. So right quick, fast, before we do our first commercial break, the show rundown for tonight, I'm going to touch base on what I saw. Rashad is not in. Garrett and Tyrone, they should be calling in, but we'll wait on them. But I'll go ahead and start the show after our commercial break. Quickly what I saw of Miles and Albany, and then quickly going through, I saw the fifth of Prairie View and Grambling. We'll take a commercial break, and then I'll talk about what I saw through Southern in the zero quarter and the fifth quarter. Of course, the lines will be open to all of you. And then the last segment, hopefully, I'm sure Rashad and someone else will call in by then and say what they saw this weekend. But again, you are welcome to call in and even be on the show with me if you want to. 718-664-6025. If you were able to see all those matchups or at least see a couple of them, just go ahead and call in and, we'll do the show. Shout out to all my people that watch the show. We've had some really good numbers. I guess the show is growing here this year, so we appreciate all the love. Go ahead, give a quick applause to that. Let's go ahead and hear from our sponsors right quick. Again, I got this hardware issue, so I don't have all of the clips and all of the usual bands, transitions going in and out. But we'll do our best tonight on the 90 Degree Show, and I'll get my laptop worked on. So again, let's go to our commercial break. Thanks for listening tonight. Sit back and enjoy. We're at week 5 here on the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for listening.
Hello, this is John Needham II, proud graduate of Dillard University class of 2000 and owner of N2 Fitness, where you can purchase your workout gear at www.n2fitness.storeenvy.com. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556. What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Need to write music and drill? Get it on the field. Outfit your band. Keep your administrator happy and still have a life. Encountering drama in the process, ain't nobody got time for that. Let Block Band Music assist you with musical arrangements and drills to fit your band, and also the equipment, gear, and accessories to keep the visuals, music, and marching on point. Contact blockbandmusic@gmail.com and see how this worldwide minority-owned business can uplift your band.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedgeone.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Chopping It Up is a podcast of one-on-one interviews with positive role models that have a connection through music and or education. Chopping It Up is all about inspiring our youth for a great future and providing a roadmap on how to get there. We also chop it up to give insight to anyone looking for information or hope in their endeavors. Chop it up with us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. Chopping It Up, changing the world through positive interaction.
This is Janice Craig Hartsfield, proud Spelman College alumni, class of 1964, and you're listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
All right, guys, we are back from commercial break. We really appreciate all those listening. We'll go ahead and kick it off. I got a little different transition music. Got stuff all messed up. Again, I don't have my hardware, but you're supposed to be listening to Prairie View from the fifth quarter, but I got a little of that Coffee Brown, Don't Stop, whatever, the music stop, party stop, whatever it is. So I got that for you guys going in between the transitions. But again, we'll get this worked out. I'm still kind of bummed out. You know, you got your show and you got it how you want it, and then when it ain't right. But I digress. Let's go ahead and start talking about these bands. Again, we had Miles and Albany State, which is like one of my favorite. And I'm going to go ahead and briefly talk about Prairie View and Grambling. We'll take a commercial break and we'll talk about the S and Alcorn, because good Lord. Let me turn this music off. I mean, woo, that was something. So we'll get into that in the meat of our show. Just let me say that Prairie View, you know, I didn't get to see Prairie View when I marched to Jackson State. You know, of course, either they didn't come to Jackson or we didn't go out there. Basically, they don't necessarily have a stadium per se. And I know that talking to Garrett, that's the main reason why Southern didn't go there last week. But Prairie View is still the bomb. And I think like in the early 2000s, they were just like ripping through people. I remember like when the Honda was first starting, I remember they were like one of the top one of the top attractions. And then their drum section was like world renowned. So Prairie View is coming with some stuff. And I think that, they haven't been as powerful in the last couple of years, but they've still been really, really good. Last year, I thought they were really good. They had a great showing in the swag battle of the bands, and they had a really good showing against Jackson State. I think I saw that game. And, in the Merck City Classic, as they say, I think they they played against Southern. So I kind of like Prairie View. And then shout out to Zim Ballistic. And our man, Luis Suarez, he actually marched Prairie View, marched baritone for them. And now, he's doing his thing there with video business. And the tape is really, really good. I have to say, shout out to you. I'll go ahead and give you guys out Zimbalistic some props because audio sounds good, and I really like the logo. I like the logo down there at the bottom. But shout out to really all you young videographers out there. It's really looking professional, looking just some really good stuff, really good product. So I was able to check out the fifth quarter between Prairie View and Grambling. I didn't see the halftime show, but I was still pleased. Another thing, too, let me get this out of the way about Grambling. I usually be hating on Grambling just because, I always hear so much about how good they are and how world-renowned they are. But I usually really, you know what? I'm sitting here tripping. I did not read the results here from our Week 4 battle. Stuff is just all over the place. But, yeah, I'm tripping. I didn't read the results from our Week 4 battle. So let me get... Yeah, look at that. The crowd is getting mad at me. My bad. Let me... All right, let me shut y'all up right quick. Yeah, let me go ahead and read the results here from the Week 4 battle. We had Tuskegee and Winston-Salem here. Let me go ahead and open up the polling here and add our little suspense here. I think we got some guys calling in. But go ahead and let me get this rolling. Let me go ahead and read the results here from our vote. Sorry about that, guys. So with 85% of the vote, Tuskegee wins our Week 4 featured battle, which is a big surprise. So shout out to Tuskegee for winning the Week 4 battle. It's a little bit of a surprise, of course. Well, actually, not necessarily. Rashard said that he felt that Tuskegee got them in the stands, but Winston-Salem won on the field. So I guess, like we said, you can put your vote for who you think won the fifth or who you think won halftime or both, yay or nay. You can only vote one time per day. So it's good. All those folks, we put it out on Twitter, and we usually get a good response from both schools. But yeah, Tuskegee wins out. So congratulations to Tuskegee for winning that. Okay, so now let me go ahead and get back to it. And while I say that, I think we got our man, the owner and founder of Block Band Music and Publishing, Rashad. Is that you, Rashad?
Man, that is a complete lie. That is a lie. Everybody who voted for Tuskegee, they said, "Oh yeah, I live in Alabama. Let me vote for Tuskegee." They did not see the halftime show. There's no way they saw the footage and said that Tuskegee beat them. It's not possible. It was a one-sided blowout. At least on the field it was, and in the stands it was close with Tuskegee edging them out, man. So right. People just didn't see it. They must have been banned from voting.
Yeah, that's what I always say. The one guy was always telling me on the fifth, talking about, it's the love of the schools and all that, but definitely the Tuskegee fans showed up. But, it's funny you say that, because even still, we can, no matter what happened at a show, you can actually talk to someone in the band and be like, man, we took y'all down. No, you did. No, you did, man. Mm-hmm. Y'all wasn't that good, man. It'll always be up for some type of debate. So I guess that's what I love about talking when we talk to you. How you doing, man? How you doing, Rashad? How was the Battle of the Bands, man?
Everything is fantastic. I don't know if you can hear them. I'm probably just stepped away from so I can hear you. But I'm literally about a tenth of a mile behind Elizabeth City State right now. That's jamming. I'm walking towards them now, so you can hear them. Great event, man. Very well attended. There were 6 colleges in attendance and 2 high school bands, and it was really good, man. I think the crowds enjoyed themselves, the bands enjoyed themselves. How the event flowed went really well.
Okay, that's what's up. So all 6 college bands showed up?
Yeah, all 6 of them showed up, and the 2 high schools showed up too. So
wow,
if you want me to talk about that later, I can drop the knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna get into. We just get in our first segment. We just did the intro and just read the results from the Week 4 vote. But I was just gonna get into. I was just gonna touch base.
The results of that lie.
Right. The results. But just talk about Prairie View and Grambling right quick. Well, first I just talked about Miles and Albany. I guess it happened, but I don't see any. I didn't see the tape of the fifth or the halftime show for Miles Albany State. I was kind of bummed out.
I did see Miles College, and I know it happened because Miles, when I listened to the announcer, Miles was at Albany State. So I know that it happened, and as Miles was coming off the field, I could see Albany State's band lining up, but I didn't see any of Albany's performance. But I got a pretty good idea of what happened based off of what I saw in their show and then what I saw from Albany State previously. I got a pretty good idea of what happened.
Okay, go ahead and break it down, because I basically was just going to go on the footage, not the footage that you saw, but just the footage that I've seen this year online, comparing the two. Okay. So actually, what do you think that basically on what you saw?
All across the board, stands and field, it would have been a one-sided blowout. It would have been one of those things where, where your child is cutting up, and so you grab them by the arm and you sling them with one arm, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, yeah. It would have been one of those. Miles College, they're definitely better than how I saw it, I guess, 2 weeks ago. Because we talked about it last week, but our information was based off of 2 weeks ago. Definitely much better than that. They're not perfect, but they're a force to be reckoned with. You know, they're not a band that you would want to approach lightly. They do a great show. They have a very good sound. And Albany State is just not on that level yet. They are not. When you listen to, you know, the things that they're playing in the stands, you can definitely tell there's a lot of inaccuracy in the notes, a lot of insecurity on the parts, a lot of out-of-tuneness, and these things that you don't really see that. But Miles College is a much more mature band at this point, at least in 2014, I'll say.
Right. I was going to like speculate that way, just because the tape that I saw, it seemed like Miles sounds better than Albany State. I did see Albany State on the field, and hey, they were marching. You know, they look good on the field. They were trying to.
I'll say that.
Yeah, and their precision wasn't that good, but they were trying. Like, they were putting it out there, and that's what kind of made me think, like, okay, like you said, like maybe they're just not on that level with Miles. I think Miles has a huge momentum right now, and I think that with the emergence really of Talladega, I think now Miles is like risen to the challenge. You know, I think that they're trying to come for folks. You know, Brian Knowles, you know, he's a friend of the network, and he was saying that, you know, they're trying to take it to the next level with their sound. You know, they keep coming on. And I remember talking to him saying, like, oh, yeah, Miles is, you know, they on a come up, man. You know, back in the day, blah, blah, blah. He was like, yeah, man, don't say that on the air, man. Like, you know, these Miles folks, you know, we always been on top of Miles, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, my bad, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to say it, man, my bad. So, yeah, man, I just think, like you said, I agree. I just think Miles, you know, they and then I bet you they were thinking about today, too. I actually saw a couple people on Facebook already talking about, I think someone said that, like, either Talladega was playing on Miles or Miles was playing on Talladega. I mean, it's serious between those two, you know what I mean? So when you got that rival, or when you got that Seattle San Francisco thing going on, I think it makes your team better or makes your band better. You know what I mean?
Right. Are they matching up this year?
Well, this weekend they were at a battle of the bands together. They were, I think, Miles and Talladega and some other schools were at a battle of the bands like right now. So like yours was going on, North Carolina and Virginia's going on, and then this other one's going on right now.
Okay. But
yeah, we just hoping I could just look on Facebook to see what people are saying, or maybe some folks might call in or say something in the chat room. But yeah, I'm sure that was, you know, the big matchup. So pushing right along. So we probably agree with Miles and Albany. If you were there at the game, or, you know, say something, you know, go ahead and let us know. Right quick, I would talk about Prairie View and Grambling in the fifth before I go to the next commercial break. Did you see the fifth quarter with Prairie View and Grambling?
I did.
Okay. Well, right quick, let me tell you what I thought. I always make fun of Grambling because I don't never think they up to par. And I was just right before I started this, I was gonna say that I always usually hate on them because, you know, Eddie Robinson and the football team was just doing so much, and it seemed like the band was along for the ride. You know, people start to how great they are, and it's like no, they're not. But I was kind of impressed with their sound. Like, I mean, they're still Grambling now. Don't get me wrong, and I didn't see them on the field. Like, I didn't see the crookedness. The usual crookedness, and I didn't even look at the game last week when they played Jackson State because, you know, say it's Grambling, you know. But I would have been prepared this week, but I didn't see the halftime. But I still felt that they sounded good, and I thought that they actually sounded more complete and full than Prairie View, which was a little bit of a surprise. I always thought that Prairie View was going to have, like, the power, you know. But I felt that Grambling was more complete with their sound, and then, but you still hear the missing of phrases, maybe, or maybe like you say, the unconfidence or not confident parts. But I thought the battle was really good and even, and I was really I enjoyed it. I have to say though, Grambling they showed up at the end with outstanding. I thought that the arrangement was a little off. I felt like there was some extra eighth notes up in there, some extra notes.
Okay, the guy, I got you. It showed up.
No, it was
the
extra.
Real Grambling showed up.
yeah. And then And then, of course, they sang at the end, which was kind of a trend this weekend. I mean, what's up? Oh, but that's just me. So I was just like, oh, of course, they started singing Outstanding. They started singing from the 70s. So I was like, oh, man, that hurt. But then, I thought Prairie View was good at times, but I thought some parts were missing. Like, it would be like, where maybe like the trombones just like were gone from a, like, was missing in some parts. But it seemed like their arrangements were like written to be like easy to crank, like repetitive, and like not single notes, whole notes, just a lot of easy kind of kindergartenish type things, so you can play loud because everybody's like blowing their face off playing 8 notes in a song. They played Happy, which is like I'm just not feeling bands playing Happy this year. And they had like a break where it's just So it was like they're trying to emphasize like this power. And I guess maybe that's a coaching thing, but I don't know. It just made me seem like they playing easy music or something like that, But it was tough to say who won per se with the fifth, because I thought the Grambling sounded a little bit better, but they hurt themselves singing. And I don't know. It was that fifth was really close. I'm kind of like at a loss for words about who won. What do you think about the fifth between those two, man?
I think we're pretty much on the same page, man. Honestly, and I may offend some people with this. I know I'm not offending Prairie View people with this, but neither band is playing indicative of a SWAC band right now. It seems like they're changing their style. We know that Prairie View is changing their style because their band just came from Norfolk, so that's to be expected. But Grambling, I noticed that too. Like, I noticed that and with the Battle of the Bands against Southern last year, and I'm just like you. It's like, oh, there's Grambling, that's going to be terrible. But I was like, actually, that's some pretty good stuff that's playing right there. But I'm going to say it's terrible. But actually, the arrangements were different, and you can hear, and you can tell that they're starting to try to play with some control. Now, here's the thing, though. When you are trying to play with control and trying to, stay within the pocket of your sound, it's much harder to do. Oh, somebody's tuba battling out here. I can hear tuba battle. I can hear tuba echoing all over me. I think the Virginia State's horsepower just cranking up. But
wow, nice.
Oh wow, I'm hitting those chords, boy. That just sounds good. But anyway, when you are trying to play with a lot of control, it's much harder to do, and therefore, when you do it, when you make mistakes, it's a lot more noticeable. Like if you're just going for broke, it doesn't really matter if you're in tune because the sound is so loud, it kind of overwhelms that. I know I don't really mean that, but it's kind of like that. Versus when you're really trying to play for balance and blend and articulation, when you're making mistakes, when somebody misses a note, it sticks out. And that's what I noticed with both bands. Both bands were trying to play within the pocket of their horn. They really weren't trying to overblow. And because of that, there was you could hear a lot of mistakes here and there between the different instruments. So I'm like you. I really couldn't call it. Same comment on the arrangement of Happy. I did not like that. I thought it was interesting that the baritones have that at the beginning, which is, I don't know, it felt weird. Without everybody else has had the trombones and the baritones on that together, and it kind of solidifies that sound, stabilizes that pitch a little bit. The baritones on it by themselves is kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Outstanding also, yes. I was outstanding because of how bad it was versus everything else they played. So I'm like, yeah, it's about even. I don't like to say it's a draw, but I think it was a draw.
Yeah, and I was just kind of surprising. Like, I don't think I was just surprising. I was just gonna say that, man. But like I say, Grambling, I will give you some props. I mean, they sound good. They, it's I think that they're rising to the challenge. It kind of bleeds into the segue on our next segment talking about Alcorn. And I'm like I say, I want to let the commercial break play, but I was really impressed with that fifth quarter, man. That's probably the best one I've seen so far. It's early, and I haven't seen them all, but man, I was really impressed with. Alcorn, really, because Southern is kind of just as to be expected. But definitely, we'll get into that. And they had a zero quarter too. So let's go ahead and And oh man, I'm getting better at this, man. I'm catching myself right before the break, right before the music cut on. But let's go ahead and get to this commercial break here, and we can then talk about S and Alcorn. Tyrone, I talked to Tyrone, and he said that he would be calling in. I think he said he saw Howard or somebody today, and we might get the Edge One, Garrett Edgerton himself. From the Edge One Productions. He's like the video guy. Well, actually, he is the video guy there for Southern, and I think they made it official. So congratulations to him. It's long overdue, and they maybe should give him a little bit more money and give him like another job, because the young man is really impressive. You guys check out his Chopping It Up episode on our network. And hopefully he'll call in on the show and tell us about the atmosphere, because it was pretty crunk from what I saw on the zero quarter. So let's go ahead.
Congratulations to Yearbook Photos. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Laughs are always welcome here. And then we'll get to you too, Rashad. We'll get to a little bit of that proof analysis, 'cause I'm gonna put more of that time on it here with you. So I'm gonna put you on mute here. We'll do our second commercial break. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show, Week 5, here on the Marching Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.
This is Warren Shaw, Chief Arranger and the voice of McClarkenland University, Mighty Marching Panthers. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
Hello, this is John Needham II, proud graduate of Dillard University, class of 2000, and owner of N2 Fitness, where you can purchase your workout gear at www.n2fitness.storeenvy.com. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
All right, we are back. Welcome back to our from our commercial break. I'm just getting my mic here adjusted. I'll bring Rashad back in here on the mic. I was telling the listeners, Rashad, that I messed up. I had a family kind of accident with my laptop, and that's trash, man. I'm gonna have to get the warranty hooked up. But of course, I don't have none of my audio and none of the main stuff that I can do to show. And my little audio clips of the band playing, so I got to go with the stuff I got saved. But again, I got to hopefully lean on that warranty. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is,
right.
Messing with this hardware. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We are back. We're ready to talk here. We're going to talk Southern here and Alcorn. I checked out the fifth quarter and saw about half of the zero quarter. Really, really exciting. Really, really good stuff. Let me go ahead and turn Craig Mack off here. I was thoroughly impressed. Probably the best fifth quarter I have seen this year. It was a great length. The video and the stuff I saw, it said about 40 minutes. saw a couple videos like 38 minutes or whatever. Shout out to Alcorn. I have to give you guys props. And you know what? Let me go ahead. I'll give them the props all the way. I'll give them applause. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, I went to Jackson State, so it's like in my blood to talk about Alcorn negatively. And it's just, I always call them Bizarro, you know, just like, you know, the unhealthy Superman, because, of course, you know, Jackson State is Superman, but then you got Alcorn. But ever since we started doing the show, Alcorn's like been on a come up, and I know like we had Maurice on here, and he's been saying the same thing. But man, it seems like they put it together in this year. From what I saw on the 5th, I felt they sounded good, and I didn't hear as much of, you know, Alcorn show up in certain parts where it's like slurring, or it's like you know, like where it's just a lack of phrasing or something like that. I thought that it was really, really. I thought that they were good. I thought they were powerful, and you know, I was kind of surprised. So that made it better, because of course Southern's gonna always give a good performance, but to see them going back and forth with Southern and a tit for tat was great. You know, of course Southern was louder and more intense, more powerful, but I thought the play calling was good. You know, that's one thing that you can't really go on the Southern or even Jackson State right now and trying to like overblow them or have more intensity. You know, you can throw just better songs or better selections of songs at them. And I felt Alcorn did a good job responding to Southern. You know, Southern played at one time, they played I Love L.A., which I thought was really cool, because you could also flip it like I Love Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? But it sounded good. But then Alcorn played, I can't remember the name of the song, but they played something really good back. So shout out to Alcorn. I don't really think they took an L, and I felt it was really close. But then, of course, Southern played Purple Rain, and they started singing at the end. Rashad, man, I can't let them slide, even though it's the S, and I'm, you know, like an S fan. But man, I felt that it hurt them because Alcorn
But Joe,
was doing
it's Purple
so well.
Rain. It's Purple Rain, Joe. It's Purple Rain.
See, you know what's funny is that my wife loves that movie. I have still not seen Purple Rain. Yes, I have. I hadn't seen it, and I know I'm in my 30s. Wow, the crowd let me know. All right, my bad. My bad. I just hadn't seen it. You know what I'm saying? I just hadn't seen. Come on. I hadn't seen Purple Rain straight up. I seen Doves
but
Cry.
You heard
which
the
is
song
the
though. You heard the song though, Joe.
Oh yeah, definitely heard. And I like them when they play it, especially the little like the little part when they get super super loud. I get crunk. But I just Purple Rain. You Southern, play like some extra chords or just get louder at that part. I mean, please don't sing. I mean, that's just me though. You know what I'm saying?
But Joe, even if you're Southern, it's Prince, man.
I know. You know.
I mean, Southern is great, but this is Prince we're talking about.
You know, you remind me of Dave Chappelle. He got some skit out there, and he said something. He's like, man, Michael Jackson did Thriller. Like, you know what I'm saying? They were, he was on the stand, and they were like, oh, did Michael Jackson do something wrong? He was like, man, Michael Jackson made Thriller. You know what I'm saying? That's what you remind me. Oh, somebody from the 504, I think it's The Edge. Let me see if this is him. Call for the 504 area code. You're on live. What's your name? And tell us where you're calling from tonight.
You can't give Alcorn the L. Alcorn got the L as soon as we marched in the stadium yesterday.
What's going on? It's The Edge. What's going on, man? That's cool, man. Now, I don't know who really took the L. Well, I don't. But that's so close because I hate to say that. Oh, just because they sang they took the L. I can't really put it out there like that. But man, so you saw, because let me say this right too. The zero quarter was hype. I have to say, what did you think about the zero quarter? Was the game like all what it was expected to be yesterday?
Well, from our perspective, it was what we thought it would be. We came up with a we came up with a purpose. We put it on their minds from the start until when we marched out. That was the whole plan for yesterday. You put it on in mind.
I mean, it was good. I felt that they were really, really. I mean, I didn't see the whole zero quarter, but they responded pretty well. I like when the S played, of course. I don't give a you don't know, and then I can't remember what Alcorn played, but man, it just felt. It just reminds me, when we see those big time sports like Georgia and Alabama and Wisconsin, and they play like jump around and they play something over the PA system to get the crowd hype. Whereas in our it's actually our band's playing. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I'm gonna ask you right quick, and then I'm gonna ask Rashad what he thought. What did you think? I guess because I heard that Alcorn took that L, but what about the halftime show? Tell us about the halftime show.
Well, both bands did a great job during halftime. Of course, I would say we had the better show, but I feel Alcorn copies Jackson State too much. And I said that as soon as we got on campus, I'm like, why are there drum majors marching like Jackson State drum majors? Why are the dancers marching like the J-Sets? And I felt a Jackson State show in Alcorn show. The way they formed ASU, it was like, okay, this is Jackson State when they do JSU.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, both bands did a great job on the field.
You just think that you guys just did the better show. You guys had the better show.
The better drill, yeah, the better drill.
Oh, okay. Now, did they do? I guess they did like their basic like kaleidoscope drill or like Rashad say step 2 type of drill or whatever.
Mhm.
Okay.
And went right into the ASU. Right.
Wow. See, that's what I'm saying. Bizarro, man. Bizarro, Rashad. That's what I be thinking about, man. When I think of Alcorn, man. So okay. So you said you had the better show. Now, what do you think about the 5th? Because to me, it was really good. Like overall, it's something definitely I would, let people check out to see. What did you think about the 5th, and what was like the momentum or the feeling in the stadium when you were out there?
That's the whole thing. You can't feel the feeling in the stadium if you watch the video. If you were there, you would know Southern won by the second song of the 5th. Because after that, everybody was like, why is Alcorn still here? Why are they still in the stands? Even though this is their stadium, why are y'all still going back and forth with Southern? After the second song we played, and you could look on the people's faces and they'll show you like what is Alcorn doing? What are we doing?
You had the camera. You should have zoomed in on some of their faces.
That's gonna be my next one. I'm gonna have a reaction camera next time for these instances like this.
Babies crying.
That actually would be dope. Had a reaction camera, like a little headset or something like that. But yeah, man, it's funny you say that, and that's why I love when people can call in and tell us what they saw. But man, I'm just like, wow, like looking at the video, Southern was normal, but it seemed like they were coming back at her. And I was like, wow, just really impressed. And also, too, I don't expect that at Alcorn. I don't really expect them to come up and then trying to just respond. Rashad, man, what did you think about a video with the SU and Alcorn?
Okay, so unlike Miles versus Albany, it was definitely not a one-sided blowout. He just dragging the child by his arm. But Alcorn State is not ready for Southern. Southern is definitely on another level, hands down. However, Alcorn is a lot better than they were last year. They're like I would like to see Alcorn versus like Alabama State, because you've always heard me say that Alabama State is loud like Southern, but they're just not as clean. And that's how kind of Alcorn State is. Like Alcorn is loud, but they're just not as clean. They have a lot to work on as far as the cleanliness is concerned. So that would be a great battle. But all across the board, every single song, Southern was playing a lot cleaner. This is the cleanest that I have ever heard Southern. And all year, I've been thinking that, okay, Jackson State is definitely going to take it to Southern this year because Southern is loud, but Jackson is loud too, and Jackson is a lot cleaner. But now Southern has finally stepped up their game. You don't hear like a baritone falling off pitch or anything like mellophones going crazy. Like everybody holds their note and they hold it until that pitch is done. And Southern sounds great right now. Alcorn had a lot of problems with starting songs. Like The Edge, I'm sure you would agree. Like almost every song they started, it sounded like a mistake coming in. And then a couple of measures into it, then they finally got it, you know. But definitely, even with the fifth quarter, you know, Southern hit them with, I would say the battle was kind of over by the first song when they hit that song. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're not ready for Southern, because once you think that you can keep up with Southern's power, they hit you with those runs and things like that, and what do? And then Purple Rain, it's Prince. They pulled out Prince. You might as well go well. Fifth quarter, halftime, once again, Southern's marching right now. First of all, I like the fact that they didn't start and do the downfield, because the downfield looks great, but it always hurts Southern as far as their sound is concerned. It makes their sound a non-entity. Versus, starting in the center, you can hear them more. I love how when they're doing the step twos, how some people stop marching, and they just stand there and play while other people are marching around them. It's just the effect of that. The visual effect is really cool. And their step twos are, just about perfect. I don't know what they're feeding them. I don't know what they're teaching them over there, but I feel like when they go from class to class, if the band director catches them going from class to class and they're not marching 8 to 5, they can't throw out the band. Versus Alcorn, when they did their step twos, I feel like they were making like fishnet, like they were making some fishnet pantyhose on the field or something. It was. And I've said this before: if you can't do step twos perfectly, don't do them. Do some other stuff. Don't do them. That's fine. Just don't do them. But Southern can do them nearly perfectly. So all across the board, it was definitely a Southern victory. But I can give credit to Alcorn for really stepping up their game over the course of the last few years. And I think that they're going to be somebody to reckon with in the next couple of years. But I don't know if they're ever going to get to upper echelon SWAC. We'll see.
Perfect. And we got someone from the 601 area code. Caller from the 601. Give us your name and where you calling from tonight.
This is Maurice.
Maurice, what's up, man? What's going on, phone?
I'm doing good, man. In Memphis with friends and out and doing everything, and man, I almost missed the whole call in, but I'm good.
Did you finish collecting those scholarships?
Yeah, that's a lot of folks. Maurice actually went up to Tennessee State this week and took out mellophone scholarships there at Tennessee State. Forgive me if I'm not saying mellophone or French horn or whatever they play, but that's the word on the street is actually Maurice went to the register and actually pulled the scholarship.
They are marching French horns, but it's still same difference. We ought to be able to hear them, though, right?
Right. So, did you see the game this weekend, Maurice?
I did not. I've been traveling all weekend, and the little bit I did see, I saw some stuff Southern did in the stands, and that's all I got a chance to look at, man.
So what you think about Southern, man?
I think that Mr. Hamer is doing a pretty good job bringing a lot of himself into the program. I don't know. I consider myself to be friends with Mr. Hamer. I marched at the when he was at Southern. I think him bringing some of the concepts of trying to get the band to play arrangements that are probably a little bit more musical than Southern would have, I think is a good thing. But from what I listened to this year, them in the stands, I think that they would. I think I heard that Nobody Does It Better song that they played, and a couple other songs they played in the fifth. I think that they're not as clean as they were last year. I know he has a lot of new people over there, but this is Nathan Hammond we're talking about. This is his first year as head band director. I'm very, very excited to see some of the new stuff that he's probably going to do this year that the band hadn't done yet, or some stuff they hadn't done in years. But as of right now, I just think that he's probably doing a lot of cleaning up, probably doing more of what the brother just said. Their marching is on point, so he's probably been really, really working a whole lot on trying to keep that tradition there of keeping their marching style looking as great as it's always looked. I think he described it as nearly perfect, and I think that was perfect because I have seen them tear it up now. But I will say that, for the most part, they basically had that marching down pat. So I am going to be in Jackson this week for the Prairie View Jackson game. It'll be their first time coming to Jackson since 1986. So
wow,
that's going to be a historic game. So I wish I would have got a chance to see more, but I was trying to transition myself from the north back down here. So
well, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. We sure always appreciate when you call in, man. But yeah, I definitely I wanted to see what you thought about either band, because you know I value your opinion and whatnot. I know we were right before that last commercial break. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I didn't hear it. I think my little audio thing off here, but I got to put you all on mute here. We got to go to a commercial break. We'll come back here in the third segment here, and we'll wrap up the show with our word on the street. We'll talk about the Battle of the Bands that went on this weekend, and anything else that the brothers may want to be talking about here. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show. We are week 5 here on the Marching Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.
Janice Craig Hartsfield, proud Spelman College alumni, class of 1964, and you're listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
This is Warren Shaw, Chief Arranger and the voice of McClarkenland University, Mighty Marching Panthers. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
All right, we're back. The last segment here of our show, our word on the street, our thoughts, or anything that we saw here on the web. You're welcome to call in at 718-664-6025 or join our chat room and leave a couple comments. If you are interested in being a sponsor or a patron here to the Marching Podcast Network, you are welcome and free to do so. Just contact the network, and we'll give you the criteria about becoming a member of the family, so to speak. We'll play your commercial. We'll put your website on our blog. We'll help promote your business. You can use our platform. You can come on the show and tell the world anything that you're working on, anything that you want to do to help get your particular business out and in the open. We'll send you all of our data. We've been on the air enough, and we have more than 125 episodes out there, and we've got enough data to say where most of our listeners are from, where they're located. Of course, I'm in geography, of course, and we have all this stuff out on great maps here for you guys. But another thing, too, to remember is we are worldwide. We have followers in England. We have followers in Africa, Australia. Band is just not here in the United States, everyone. So we have international listeners as well as a lot of the folks here in the States, especially a lot of the folks in the southeastern part. If you could imagine. But again, here, you can contact our network as I bring Rashad here back on the network. Contact our business so we can help you promote your business. So we'll get in here into the last segment here, our word on the street, and I'll go ahead and bounce a couple things off Rashad here. Rashad, instead of bouncing things, you were at that great Battle of the Bands, man. Go ahead and we'll just give you the time here, word on the street. Go ahead and tell us about what you saw, man.
Will do. And Africa is not a country, my brother. You gotta separate them. Give them props for that individual.
Man. You know what? It's just not my night with the laptop. You know what I'm saying? It's just not my night. The laptop, of course I got all of the same, whatchamacallits, I got all of the same voices saying you listen to the network. I got my man from Clark going a couple times, but yeah, just really bummed out about my laptop, man. Hopefully I get that worked out. So go ahead and tell us, it was a dope Virginia versus North Carolina battle of the bands.
Yeah, truly awesome, man. Truly awesome. Like I said, 8 bands in attendance. I did not see the high school bands. Well, first of all, great attendance. A lot of people were there here in Petersburg, Virginia, right here at the campus of Virginia State, where I'm still standing. I did not see the high school bands perform. I did hear them in the stands. Hillside High School, definitely the cleaner, fuller sounding band versus Highland Springs High School, which they seem to be having a down year right now, because in the past Highland Springs has kind of dominated high school bands here in Virginia, but it seems like they stepped down just a little bit this year. But Hillside definitely still doing well. For the rest of them, the high school bands did their shows first, and then from there, then they had the everybody played a song in the stands, which I also missed. I wasn't there for that. But then after that, they brought all the drum lines out, and each drum line, each of the college drum lines played. Dude, let me tell you something, man. There was not a solid drum line here. I mean, every single one of these cats can really play. Like all of them use tonal bass drums, and all of the bass drum parts were I mean, they can play. Like, I wish some drum and bugle corps people had been here to see some of the stuff they were doing, because it's like, wow, they playing that stuff and they're dancing? I mean, it's crazy. Like, I remember, like, A&T's drum line, they were, like, kind of half running while playing tonal bass drum runs. I'm like, what are y'all doing, man? Y'all are crazy, But that drumline battle was great. I'm not going to even try to call that. It was way too close. I would have had to have been would have to have been a percussionist to really be able to say, wow, which drumline was better, because they were all really great. From there, what they did was they would bring up the bands 2 at a time. So it was then Elizabeth City State and Virginia Union, and then after that, A&T and Hampton, and then Shaw and Virginia State. And they would have them both come up, and they would both play a song on the field. All right, and then depending on the crowd, the crowd would decide who went first during their halftime show. It was really cool how they did that. So Virginia Union was the first band. Virginia Union, I was very impressed with them. Now, full disclosure, my company did their dance routine and everything from their show after the dance routine. We may have done their fanfare. So full disclosure. However, I've never heard Virginia Union in person before, so I don't know how they were going to do our music. And Virginia Union really taught me something. They don't have enough trumpets to balance their band, but they played better almost than any other band there. And what they taught me is that even if you don't have enough trumpets, you just don't have enough trumpets. Don't try to overcompensate. Just play your part. And they played, our Virginia Union's band is extremely clean. Like, they're very clean, Joe. Like, you would be proud to hear their trumpets and the whole band in general. I personally thought they were the second best sounding band overall there. Now, granted, they didn't have the balance that everybody else did, and they were granted the smallest band there. But I thought pound for pound, they were the second best sounding band. I think they did a good show. I thought the dance routine was a little long, which is funny because we wrote it, but we wrote what we told to write, what we were told to write. Elizabeth City State, they were next, and they were also a small band. I think you're a fan of them. A small band on the come up here in North Carolina. They're going to come up here in North Carolina. Definitely a lot of the consistency problems I was talking about, I guess a couple of shows back, not as much. At least they still have it, but it's not so much of a switch. It's like this time they sound really good, and this time they don't sound as good, versus this time they sound really good, versus this time they sound bad. They've got a lot of power for that band. Yeah, they got a lot of power. Got some screaming going on over there, so I'm really excited about what we're going to see from them. The thing I did notice with them is that they seem to have gotten a little out of character. As far as their sound is concerned, they've kind of gone over the top just a little bit. Like I was listening, really hearing Elizabeth City State develop a nice, full, controlled sound that was powerful, and it's starting to push over it a little bit. And I hope they can bring it back so they can get that power, but still not go out of tune. You know.
Like they're trying to have a lot of power or something. They're trying to blow people out or something.
Yeah. Oh, definitely trying to do that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Then next was A&T versus Hampton, and so this was the first one where I actually saw the two bands play their song on the field, and then the crowd actually decided who was going to go first. So A&T started with this drum bugle chord type of chord progression. They flubbed the first note, but after that it was beautiful, and it just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then they switched from that to talking, and man, dude, they hurt my ears. I kid you not, they hurt my. I was like, good God, the band is so powerful, and they're not nearly as big as some of those bands that are down south. But I know that they are doing things like breathing exercises. They're doing a lot of chord progressions. They're doing a lot of work on creating a balanced sound. A&T is really pushing the level. They incorporate a lot of the drum and bugle chord type techniques to get more power out of the sound they have. Wow. That sounds like them too. Yep. They need to split up those baritone parts, because a lot of times where baritones, they're all trying to play really high, and it's not really working. And then Hampton they did a long dance, and then they played talking outside. So the crowd decided Hampton should go first. Hampton's show was okay, but like I learned from watching Virginia Union, they were trying to overcompensate. Like they've got a small mellophone. They've only got 2 mellophones, and I think they got about 8 trumpets or something like that. And both the mellophones and the trumpets were trying to really push that sound to keep up with the car that's driving past me. To keep up with the low brass, And I learned that you don't have to do that. I mean, particularly with the mellophones, there's a lot of times where they were really going out of tune. You've got 2 mellophones. Just play your part. I mean, you're not going to overwhelm anybody with sound, so don't try to do that. Just chill. And then maybe I think if they can bring it back some, it'll help, because it was hurting Hampton's sound some. So after that, then A&T actually performed their field show. And A&T, wow, tremendous show. I would almost definitely say they took it. Great show, great sound overall. Not perfect sound, but extremely full, extremely powerful, very musical as far as the things that they were being asked to do. So A&T probably best show overall. After that, it was Shaw and Virginia State. Shaw actually turned towards Virginia State and started playing something at them, and the sound was really thin. Yeah, they called him out, like Trojan explosion, and blah, 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 blah. But the sound was really thin, man. I didn't like it, man. Like I hadn't seen Shaw in a little while, but I know a couple of years back when I saw Shaw, I was like, wow, they sound amazing. And I didn't hear that. They were really trying to do that whole thing. And Joe, you've seen this. Small bands often sound bad because they try to blow really hard and sound like a big band.
Yes.
And it happens more often than not. And they were doing exactly that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And it's hard to do, to like stay within yourself when you out there and the crowd, and then another band is out there. It's hard to really stay within yourself with in that environment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I'm just going to skip right to the shows. So Shaw ended up going first. Same problem. There was a lot of problems with Shaw's show. I don't know what happened. I mean, there was a lot. They were doing like a lot of runs, and the trumpets would hit the run, and the mellophones would go. Dude, I don't know what was going on. I mean, it was a really demanding show, and they weren't on top of it. Tubas were missing runs. I don't know, man. Like I said, I've heard a lot better from Shaw. Virginia State, though, best sounding band of the night. Great
really?
sound, very articulate sound, very strong sound. They kept it within their register. You could definitely tell the difference between the trombones and the baritones. You can hear that, okay, these are trombones, they sound like that. These are baritones, they sound like that, which is not always the case in our bands. Great tuba playing. I was standing right over there next to Taylor Whitehead, who was talking, horsepower, blah, blah, blah. So horsepower delivered. Because I was like, hey, man, they better come with it, all this noise you've been talking. But great show, man. Oh, and let me say this last thing here. One other band had a twirler as well, and I think it was Elizabeth City. Male twirler. Great job to them. And the twirler at Virginia State, also great. Both of those guys, really caught everybody's attention. The guy from V State, they would take that baton and throw that thing way in the air. And no, it was Virginia Union. I'm sorry they had that twirler. But anyway, Virginia State, they would take that baton and throw it way in the air. It would be on fire, and you'd catch it. Man, it was awesome. So great job to both of those guys. So there you go.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The decision apparently with North Carolina was voted the winner of the Battle of the Bands.
So it was, I guess, in a way, each band attributed so many points for their state, so to speak, I guess.
I guess so. I'm not really sure how that happened.
Yeah, so I guess the folks voted, or they're like, oh, who had the better bands, North Carolina or Virginia or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. After the last band, after Virginia State played, I went to the bathroom. So
okay.
I wanted to make sure I didn't have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the show. So let me go.
Right.
And I came back. Who won? North Carolina. Okay.
Okay. So that's cool. So that's still cool that they had something. I actually like the idea, North Carolina versus Virginia, but it's really cool. So you think, and that's what's really, really interesting to me, Virginia State, was the best sounding band of the night.
Hands down, definitely.
And
Virginia State would be one. Go ahead.
And I'm saying they're the hybrid style, right? So they kind of, is that what their show entailed? The hybrid style?
Yeah, they did like a Spanish march starting out called Durango. I asked the band director if he was going to have Jamie Foxx riding on a horse, as a part of the show. I really did ask him that, but they did that, and they did a lot of the. Well, what you notice is that A&T, Hampton, and Virginia State are all doing combinations of show style and core style.
Okay. And I really like that, man. I'm not gonna lie. I really do enjoy that. Well, that's really cool, man. I'm really glad that you actually got a chance to go. We're coming to the end of the show, and I'm trying to think here what I was gonna ask you. I knew I was gonna ask you something specific, I thought. But I can't remember. I may have to I guess probably just ask you on the next week's show. Really cool. I thought what you said last week, I think I want to reiterate that before the music kicks in, about giving back to our schools, even if it's a little bit or based on what you have. If we're all out, working here in our infrastructure here, in our social society, or make up whatever you want to call it, we should at least try to give something back, to our schools. If we can tithe for our churches, we can tithe for our schools too, And I think it'd be a really, really good, really, really good idea. You guys, everyone find out how they're able to give back, or even give back to your school, or even become a part of the alumni association there in your town or in your city. Being involved, being financially involved, I think that's what's really, really important. Being in a fraternity, being the Bros, being the Qs, being the Alphas, being whatever, those are financial commitments. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just, being out at the clubs and, hopping and all that. You also are required to, have, your annual dues taken care of. And that's so that, our businesses can now thrive in this economy and our infrastructure. We need to start having money behind the things that we have. As far as when we talk about black colleges or black anything, we need to come with the resources as well. So everyone think about, how black you are, how much green are you putting into the blackness, I guess, so to speak. if you will.
Nice.
But yeah, Rashad, you got anything out before we close here for the evening?
Yes, man. I'm also very proud. Block Band is sitting on 182 arrangements sold this year, so we'll definitely hit 200. I was here also yesterday at the Icy Norcom High School band competition. There were 6 bands in attendance plus the host band, and about half of them played some of our music or had on some of our equipment. So we're really excited, man, and we just want to keep pushing and to push this art form, and along with you, to push this art form out to the masses, man.
Hey, man, I totally agree. That's why we love what Block Band is doing. We definitely love to support you guys and all you're doing. I know that we're going to have some more Chopping It Up episodes from you guys, and it's from highlighting more of the people on your staff. I definitely think that'll be a good thing. So we'll definitely probably keep up or kick up more with Chopping It Up after this year. It's a lot to teach and do this on Sundays. And then try doing the interviews is going to be a bit much. So we'll probably kick that back up in the spring. But I always appreciate you, Rashad. Another good show, man. I appreciate it, man. I'll see you next week.
You too, brother. Be blessed.
Likewise. All right, everyone. That's the show for tonight. We appreciate Week 5. Make sure we are going to get this worked out. We are in, under construction phase. So I don't know about the website and all those things to get taken care of, but we'll be pushing through this, and we'll be updating everyone if we have the show next week or whatever goes down. But again, thanks again for listening tonight. I'm off script because I don't have my normal little greeting or farewell phrase, but I can say thanks again for everyone to listening. What is it? The lessons you may give may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lessons by observing what you do. See you next time.